Good morning, everybody. It's the 25th of April on Tuesday, and this morning I'd like to take a look at the G10 FX Cloud Chart Market Review. We're going to look at the G10 currency pairs. There's the usual disclaimer. These are the currency pairs I'm going to cover today in this Cloud Chart Ichimoku Cloud Chart analysis. Going to look at what are the key support and resistance levels, as well as where the price targets are in terms of the current rallies or consolidations that's taking place. All right, so jumping straight into the Pro Real-Time platform, we'll start with the Australian US dollar. We can see here we had a couple of weeks ago, we had a correction where after it ran into key resistance zones here at 77.28, then pulled back, supported the top end of the cloud, did not hold. We then sold off right down to the bottom end of the cloud here for support. We faced the old support lows here, came in as a support zone, and we were a couple of points above the bottom end of the cloud for key support, rebounded from there, back up to the top end of the cloud, and we're still stuck in this within the cloud. Now, the negative story is that the front end of the cloud indicate that we have a downtrend in place. So it's critical to see if the Australian dollar is going to collapse through the bottom end of the cloud here to move down further and then retest these lows here at 74.67, and then once again here at 74.50. And then we could see a possible rebound back to the bottom in the cloud. But so far, watch very closely to see if this support level is going to come in here. If not, it's going to collapse down through the bottom end of the cloud. If support comes in at this area, we're just going to rally back up to the top end of the cloud here at 76.13. So a fairly narrow trading range. Okay. The Euro US dollar is a bit more interesting here. We had a strong rally after rebounding from the bottom end of the cloud. Marched higher, broke past the old cloud chart resistance at 108.26. The next level to test was 109.03, and it met that level and is now consolidating in around these key levels. Okay, so if support holds at this level, we'll be looking at the next level here at 110. But so far, consolidation within this trading range with support at 108.22 and resistance here at 109.02. Okay, positive news here is the front end of the cloud indicate that we have an uptrend in place, and we've had a MACD buy still back here when it broke, rebounded from the top end of the cloud support zone there. GDP US dollar, very interesting situation. We've rallied, rebounded from the bottom end of the cloud chart support zone. Front end of the cloud is still showing that we have an uptrend in place. We're fighting old resistance zones here. What's interesting, if we look at the weekly cloud, we can see we're right here at the bottom end of the weekly cloud, so we are fighting a significant resistance zone. If it manages to break through this zone, we're going higher to the 132 level. But there is downside resistance. This is a critical resistance zone, and we're back here at 128. We're back at the July lows, and that's the resistance zones that it needs to break past because we're at the bottom end of this cloud. So watching it very, very closely to see if it's going to be able to break past this cloud chart level, weekly cloud chart level. That's a key resistance zone. So short-term downside back down to consolidate within this trading range. And the upside potential is a breakout past this weekly cloud chart resistance. So that's kind of the level that I'm watching for. New Zealand US dollar situation, yeah, still a little bit negative. We below the cloud, downtrends in place. We're trading close to the, our target, yes, for the lows to be hit here at 69.08 again. We had a bit of a, when it got there previously, it rebounded back down to the top, bottom end of the cloud resistance, now back down. So it's going to continue this downtrend and testing support back here at the lows here of 68.64. Okay. US dollar CAD, nice rebound here from the top end of the cloud. Fantastic rebound situation there. Had a MACD buy here. We're now fighting the old highs here at 135.92. So we're going to see if it's going to get to these highs and then consolidate to pull back a little bit to consolidate that move. But we're looking for a breakout at that level. Let's just take a look at the weekly cloud to see where we are. Yeah, we're getting right there, critical level. We're fighting this 35.76 zone, absolutely critical level for the US dollar CAD. Need to break past that level, otherwise we're going to reverse and go back lower. So this level is a significant resistance zone. US dollar Swiss franc still fighting for support here at the top end of the cloud. Front end of the cloud still indicate upside potentially as up back up to 109.0094. If we look at the daily cloud here, we need to support here in and around this 98 zone, these lows here, as well as the bottom end of the cloud. So it could rebound from these areas, a rebound potential back down to the bottom end of the cloud, as it's going to try and fight resistance at that level. But sideways moving channel here is not a particularly strong from a cloud chart trading perspective. US dollar Danish krone, gap down, back down to the lows here. The cloud is resistance, the trend is down. So this one's worked out well after it failed to break past the cloud, the resistance at the top end of the cloud. We're now looking for support to come in. Is support's going to hold at this level at 6.829? If not, then we're looking at the next level of 6.764. So critical to see if support's going to come in and around these levels. US dollar yen. It managed to regain support back up to the bottom in the cloud, the old cloud chart shadow, this cloud chart support zone, as well as the front end of the cloud also indicated that we're looking at support to come in at this area. So a bit of a struggle here, but the upside potential is back up to the bottom end of the cloud, this particular zone here, these old lows here, could be the next support zone. We've had a MACD bicycle, so it might be a steady grind, a slow grind higher, but the overall trend is down because the cloud, the front end of the cloud is still pointing downwards. So you're trading a short-term relief trade in an overall downtrend. US dollar Norwegian krone. Very choppy, rebounded from the cloud support here in May, rallied back up, tried to get past old highs, failed, then came back, snapped back, tried to find support at the found support at the top end of the cloud, rallied back up. So it was a bit of a choppy trade, and now it's rebounded from the top end of the cloud for support. So it's interesting to see that this 8.493 zone is a critical support zone for the US dollar Norwegian krone. Okay, so slightly range bound. 8.4960 is support, and 8.7 is the resistance zone. US dollar Swedish krona, gap right past cloud chart support zone, gap below, test on its way to test old lows for support. So it'll be interesting to see if we're going to see support come in at this these old lows here. Okay, we've had a MACD sell signal in and around the top end of the cloud here. Cloud chart support failed, and we now still downside risk to bottom end of the cloud here is quite significant. Okay, that's it for the G10 FX. Watching sterling and the euro US dollar very closely to see what's going to happen with the euro and the US dollar and sterling in and around these extended levels. Until next time, happy trading.